All right, how's it going, my magnificent sons of bitches? I'm here on three platforms that'll. None of this video will probably not get seen on any of them. You know what I'm saying, Steven? To be honest with you, but I got my buddy Steven Rose here, who was a part of a much better time in the fucking internet. You've had your great feuds. I've had my great feuds on here. But I wanted to kind of do a video uh, basically on how kind of garbage this internet really is. Really is kind of affecting the political sphere too. We were sitting there talking about this off the line
Yeah, yeah.
because, like, you know, um, dude, I look at these content creators and, like I said, I don't know because you do a lot in sports, and I follow some of the sports channels and I follow other channels. Like I followed entertainment channels, but some of them I've had to unsubscribe to be honest with you. Of course, not yours and Kev's and Dark Horses. I'm always going to keep subscribed to those channels. But like a lot of these channels, and I don't know if you've noticed this, how much do you get on YouTube, Steven?
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. I've recently started live streaming. I talked about the job decreases and all that. And I actually got a pretty damn good view on that, almost 200, which is not
No, I'm
normal
not
for me.
talking about like on your channel. Like how much do you get on YouTube and like watch other people's content though? Like, other new
I'm
channels.
not going to lie to you. I've mainly been watching shorts instead of watching like entire videos.
Well, and see, that's another thing right there is that people do shorts anymore because they can't do long form videos. Like, I watch, like, if you do a video every once in a while, if I catch it now, because of course I'm at work a lot, but I'll usually come in there, jump on your comment sections if you're, doing a live stream whenever I'm up, or I'll jump on Kevin's video or whoever's video that I know personally. But
Mhm.
whenever I go and look at the new content creators, man, and like, particularly the sports channels, like, let's say you go ahead and click on a Houston Texans sports channel, and they're talking about, oh, CJ Stroud threw 2 interceptions. So you go to another channel, CJ Stroud, and they all talk about the same shit, for Dallas, right? Dallas Cowboys. Oh, Dak's teammates don't respect him. And then the next one does that, and the next one. So they're all like fucking copying off of each other. It's like the same shit, and they don't even put any effort into it. It's just like the dude, whenever we used to do videos, we used to do works and shit. We used to try and figure out how we were going to get interest into a product. But, dude, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but like for the entertainment channel, right?
Mhm.
There's a Hispanic girl that's going to play Snow White. For
Yeah, I
the
saw
life
that.
of me, did you hear about that?
Yeah, and what? And did you even hear what she said in the interview?
Yeah, but it's like I don't hear anything that she says that was so bad. You know what I'm saying? She's like, oh, well, I had to work 18 hours in this dress and stand there in a dress. And then these YouTubers flip the fuck out.
Oh, are you
It's like,
talking? Wait. Are you talking about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? Well, the dwarfs were offended by being called dwarfs, and then Snow White saying that, well, in this one she don't need no prince, she don't need no man, she's independent on her own.
yeah, but that's like not her shit though. She didn't write the fucking story. You know what I'm saying? She's just out there promoting the cringy shit that Disney tells her to. It's
Well,
like,
to
oh,
be
okay.
fair, she did kind of co-sign behind it because at the end of the interview she said, oh, well, no one wants to watch our movie because there's a bunch of misogynistic pricks in this country. She did say that.
I don't know. I didn't hear her say that shit, and I haven't seen any evidence to sit there and say that. The only thing that I heard her say so far, right,
Mhm.
was that she had to spend 18 hours and she deserves every minute. Okay, she's entitled. But hell, she's a fucking she's a Gen Z or she's part of your generation and stuff like that. But I guarantee you the fucking YouTubers that are over here talking all this shit, they don't work 18 hours a day. You do one fucking video, a 10-minute video crying about what this girl said. And how much effort do you put in that video? You don't even, half these motherfuckers don't even show their face. It's just a fucking avatar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it's
just
like,
like
oh,
I am right now.
yeah, but it's different. But you showed your face on your other videos when you're
Yeah,
doing.
I do it all the time. I do it all the time.
But my whole deal is, it's like, look, you're just saying the same shit that the other person fucking said. Oh, she's woke. That's what they say. Okay, you know what? I was one of the first motherfuckers to sit here and start calling these movies social engineering. I didn't really use word woke. You know what I'm saying? I was like, it's all fucking propaganda. You're being socially engineered. That's what I was saying whenever I opened my channel. And then you know what people would call me? Oh, you're a conspiracy. Ooh, you're a conspiracy theorist. That's what they would sit there and call me. But now these motherfuckers come out and they're, trying to do the same shit. Like I said, if the girl says something and she went out of line or said something like that, I haven't seen anything yet. All I've seen is them get upset over stupid shit. And when they show the clips, it's like, well, that's not really triggering. Why the fuck are you upset about it? She didn't say anything. But, it's stuff like that, man. And then everybody does it. It's like they fucking copy each other, man. It's like Operation Mockingbird. So it's not just one person. It's not just one motherfucker saying the shit. It's everybody. How the fuck did this girl piss off everybody? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So you saw that, right?
Well, to be fair, I did see the video where she did say, in this film, she doesn't need a prince. She doesn't go up to the prince. She doesn't need, she's self-dependent, this, and that. And then she did later comment saying, there's a lot of misogynistic people in this country. That's why they refuse to watch the movie. And
when did she say this? Because I didn't see that.
Well, you can look it up. She actually did say it.
The only thing that I've seen is she said that this film doesn't have the creepy stalker-like prince. That's all I said. That's all I saw. That's all she said. I would have seen the clip by now because these motherfuckers damn sure don't take any fucking moment to sit there and do everything. They put it in the damn video. And I'm like wondering, okay, she said stuff that's probably slightly cringy, not the cringiest shit that I've ever heard in my life. Yeah. You look at the girl, what's her name? Melanie Mack. Perfect fucking example. All right? Perfect fucking example. And this is what I think, this is what gets me, man, because these gamer girls, right? They're gamer girls. Okay. She's okay. She's probably about a, 4 or 5. Maybe she's probably about a 6. I'll give her a 6 to be nice. She's okay. A 6, moderately. But, it's so easy to be a female right now because she can come out and do a video and get all these simp guys to go ahead and co-sign for her.
And they'll give her money and donate to her channel by just simply being a woman. I know.
Right, that's it. But no fucking effort in the video. She just knows what the hell these simps are saying, right? And then she's like, well, she's a misogynist. And then she'll say shit like fag. Okay, you said fag. But is there anything else you're going to say? But that's supposed to be edgy. Now, if I were to do something like that, I would be, what would I be? I'd be a fucking homophobe, misogynist bullshit. And this is what I don't get because it's like, whenever we were doing shit, we were trying to be edgy. YouTube was new. We had to do shit. You had to put in a little bit of effort into your videos. We would do work. So me and Dark Horse would sit there and come up with the work. We'd be sitting there talking to each other for fucking hours trying to figure out how we were going to make this work. He would agree on some stuff. I would agree on some. We'd disagree on some stuff. We said, oh, yeah, you know what? We got to make this work for everybody to buy in and invest in on it. You and I have done a work before. But
absolutely.
These people just, in doing you've done editing before. I've done editing before.
Yeah.
You know how much of a pain in the ass that is. But now it's like the new YouTubers, and this is why I don't put the same quality that I used to into my video. Is because if these people will come up and, you know what? Oh, okay. I'll just go ahead and put an intro in on my channel. I'll go ahead and do some dry ass content for about 5 minutes and then collect a lot of views on it. And like I said, for the most part, these people are gatekeepers. You don't get you're not in those circles. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get those kind of views. You get your 5,000 subs that you got, but that's organic subs too. Those subs that you have are organic. Their subs are not organic. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a lot of stock accounts and bot accounts and that shit. Liking their videos up.
To be fair, I got 3,000 and I'm barely breaking 100 to 200 views. My shit is shadow banned. It's the dead channel basically.
Yeah, and most of us are because we're independent content creators. But these internet YouTubers, these internet influencers, and it's, we were sitting there talking about this because you were talking about how you wanted to get into my video about the old presidents, which I'm going to do a video on the MAGA party. That's going to happen, but I'm going to do that video in and of itself because I got a lot of clips that I got to show. So
I would
So
love to be a
I
part of
can't
that.
do it.
I'll
Yeah.
watch your videos while you're doing that. I'll watch it.
Yeah, because I can't do it on a live stream because I got to show the clips through my Bopison. So that's going to be something else entirely. But I'm going to Little Rock, Arkansas, and challenge Hiroshima to a fight. He is running his mouth, and see that's
Damn.
it. Like, but see there yet again that there's some other people that are here that rely mainly on just sock accounts and starting shit, and it's kind of like I said, it's they've lowered the product that is YouTube. Ultimately
Yeah.
trying to that's it. That's all this dude is. I can't even watch because you used to send me shit for Hiroshima all the time, or Hiroshima, or whatever the fuck.
Back in the day when we were all beefing. Yeah, I remember that was a couple of years ago, a year or two ago.
Yeah, and that's all they did was talk shit. They tried to get you in blackface, but that's like I said. There we go.
Yeah, they tried to cancel me for and it was just my boss saw it, but he was just like, I don't really care. I was just like, okay.
Nobody's gonna fucking care because these guys have no fucking life. Like I said, they're just on the internet looking at us living our best life. And I guarantee you that he's going to make a video on me and I'm not going to respond because I'm not going to go fucking see it. It's a doxathon these days. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But we used to put a lot of effort into our shit. We used to do some work. And to be honest with you, a lot of the times we would play off of what Wrestling Jesus was doing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
We all basically wanted to be him. I like secretly I was like that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Wrestling Jesus is probably one of the best wrestling content creators I've ever seen. And I would have no problem saying that. Everybody wanted to be him, dude.
You had him, Brad Rules, Bruce Blitz, Dark Horse, myself. And then on the conspiracy side, you had guys like Russian Vids, myself, Alex Jones. You don't have these people anymore, dude. Everything has been dumbed down to the lowest common denominator.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have guys making videos. You don't have guys covering products anymore. And when you do get them guys covering the products, like the fucking AEW shit, they don't know fuck all about wrestling. You know what I'm saying? It's just them over here crying. Half of the motherfuckers that are on the AEW stuff are like wearing unicorn shit. Having like fucking Powerpuff Girls and shit behind them and their damn videos and stuff. Yeah. It's like, who wants to watch that shit? To be honest with you, it's not like when we were talking about Stone Cold and The Rock. It's not made for these little fucking femboys that were, it was made for dudes, and we would talk about it, and we'd be like fucking spaghetti hair, Dolph Ziggler, or even the Smart Busters. It was just a lot more fun. You had people that really had fun making videos. They really enjoyed making videos. And then whenever YouTube started to implement all this bullshit, they brought in all these dry-ass internet influencers, is what they call them. And then they'll say, you can sign up to be an internet influencer, but what's the point of signing up to be an internet influencer when you can't cover shit? You have to do everything so fucking dry.
Now the only thing that's in our feed is like just pearly things or a lot of these red pill guys. It's sort of like this gender war thing. That's sort of like the biggest thing on YouTube right now is a gender war.
Dude, and I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know what the fuck. I know that somebody said Hillary was going to California, and I thought it was Hillary Clinton. I'm like, huh? Who gives a fuck? I didn't know it was some sort of fucking hurricane because I don't hardly get on the internet anymore, man. I very rarely do.
You don't get on. I can tell.
I get on Twitter just to see what's trending. I'll go down the trend list, but I'll look down my Twitter sites and my Twitter feed to see if there's anything that I would respond to. Nobody posts anything that you could, respond to. Mm-hmm. It's all about crying about some shit. So I just go on. I don't even, it's hard. I follow some people, and then if they post something, I might respond to them because I follow them. But that's it. I don't even reply that much anymore. It's like, it's so boring. It's like, you say you use it a lot, but like I said, I don't understand because whenever I watch, like I said, and they're always talking about the same thing. They get on one subject and every channel talks about the same thing. Like everybody,
Absolutely.
and what's the point of doing that too? I could understand if it was a big newsworthy event, you know, but why do like the football channels talk about how Dak is being, fucking Tavon Diggs don't respect Dak, dude? Everybody will be talking about that shit. It's like, they banned my last channel. Well, they terminated my channel. Which channel is that one? Because Dark Horse has had how many channels terminated? You've had quite a few too.
Yeah, they've I've been recently just getting videos taken down that were made 4 or 5 years ago. Like they've been sending me notifications saying like age restricted, this is gone, we're taking this. We're not gonna give you a strike, we're just gonna remove the video. I'm like, okay.
Well, that's how they got my channel. They went ahead and flagged videos I had on private.
Whoa!
I didn't. No,
How the
Mike.
hell you gonna flag something on private? That is weird.
Yeah. They were flagging shit that I didn't even have on. They just went through my files because I put everything on private. Whenever they gave me, I had like 2 strikes. Then they just went down and flagged my shit on private.
Ouch.
That's how they terminated my last channel. So it's like, that's why I don't get the YouTube shit, like the YouTube Premium or Prime or whatever the fuck it is. Because why would I get YouTube Prime if you're just going to flag my channel down anyways? It doesn't make any sense. I'm watching fucking Spawn on Tubi, you know? But like, it's all the fucking content creators, dude. And the traffic has went way down, but it's not only just for your channel, man. Go over and look at the views on some of these bigger channels. There isn't shit for views on them. You're going to see them maybe, a good video now maybe gets about like 200,000 or 300,000. And that's for like the Young Turks. The bigger channels that have 5 million subs.
And do they complain about it?
Well, take a look at Steven Crowder, right? Go look at Steven Crowder's channel. And I guarantee you what you'll see on his channel. If you go over there, you go and look right now, and it's going to be like 80,000 views on his YouTube video. Damn. If you go to the motherfucker's Rumble, they're getting 800,000.
Damn.
I was talking about how I wanted to kick WJ's maple syrup ass. LOL. Just kidding. Yeah. I believe it. That was the greatest feuds back in the days. Like, so, I mean, YouTube would be better off just, going back to the days where they allowed, us to come in here and do our own shit.
Remember when we used to be able to send each other private messages? It'll say, like, you have an inbox message.
Yeah, that's whenever we used to use our Gmails to, send each other shit.
Yeah, you could send each other private messages. They used to do the Google Hangouts off air. Now you have to have StreamYard,
Yeah, and you had all these personalities, man.
And you could leave comments. You could threaten people, and it would still stay. Your content would stay. You can go in the comment section calling each other like F you, FAG, or this, and it would stay. Like, it was cool. Like, nobody,
yeah.
Like,
you remember also, right? Like YouTube used to have a feature, right? Mm-hmm. Where if somebody made a video and you disagreed with it, mm-hmm. you could go to their video and click a response, and then it would link your video to their video, and your video would be a response video.
Nice.
Off of theirs. YouTube did that for a little while, but then they started to go ahead, and this is the issue that you get with, like, whenever you allow left-leaning socialist Democrats, is they go ahead and they, you get the bare minimum. You don't get any real quality. It's all a bunch of shit. And this is where the internet has dilapidated to.
Yeah, like, absolutely.
It's basically you'll get an internet thought that shows their boobs or something on a damn message chat and try to make it seem like it's a mistake, and then that shit goes viral. Well, guess what? Now she's a fucking she's an internet influencer. She just showed us her boobs, and then that's what fucking counts, Like I said, you got these fucking girls, these gamer girls now, that are just out there taking advantage of, these fucking simpish guys. And that's the whole.
They got a lot of what's called grifters. A lot of people grift. It's like a term used where like they'll grift to like one side of the plate to benefit, then they'll grift to another side.
Yeah.
On certain issues, and then they'll team up with these people, and that way you can kind of still get, because everything's off of what's trending. So if you like title some, like for example, like when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, and I talked about that game was rigged against the Eagles and how they screwed them. I remember when I titled Chiefs rigged the Super Bowl, I had like 300 some people in my live stream. So sometimes you got to catch it at the moment when stuff's trending. So that's what people are doing. They're trying to piggyback off of whatever's trending at the moment so that they can get those views. And that's what you call grifting.
But see, we were doing that too. But here's the deal, is that you had to be one of the first ones to get on board with that. If you're like number 1500 in the damn thing, then there's no sense in, you just might as well as go ahead and look for something else to go ahead and grift off of.
Absolutely.
Because if you're going to go ahead and drift, like you jumped in, you were sitting there saying that the Chiefs rigged the Super Bowl. That'd be something that I would have probably done before the damn game ended. But then again, I already knew that it was going to be the Chiefs and the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I was calling that the week before. I think you could probably go back in your fucking Facebook and see me sitting there saying, well, we know who's going to get into the Super Bowl now. And it's going to be the Chiefs, and it's going to be the fucking Eagles, and it's going to be the BLM Bowl. I remember I was saying that way before they even played the fucking game.
The playoffs. You did cover that during the playoffs. Right as the format started, you said it's going to be a BLM Super Bowl between the Chiefs and the Eagles.
Yeah. That's why I don't really watch a lot of football. Neither. I still cover it, and I still look at it, and I monitor it from like the outside looking in, kind of. But I'm outside of the forest looking at it from the fucking helicopter while all the NFL fans are looking at the damn trees and shit.
Well, the storyline died. The storyline died of the BLM during the first week of the Super Bowl, but then I think it was right around that time when that guy got killed in Memphis by those 4 black cops.
Yeah.
Remember? And then they needed a little storyline, because remember, what's his name claimed he was like, he identifies as a white person, Patrick Mahomes. So that's kind of what killed the storyline of the BLM Bowl.
Yeah, it was it was a bunch of
it was the BLM Bowl.
Yeah. It was the BLM Bowl, and it was the LGBTQ Bowl because of fucking Pat Mahomes' brother and shit. But this is that's what they fucking do, man. This is like social media too. It's like expanded to like YouTube, because of course we're not gonna. And it doesn't bother me. I don't care that I can't get any subs anymore. It's not even about the subs. It used
to bother me too. I don't care anymore.
Because we've already went viral, and we went viral organically. Like whenever the fucking 2016 election was coming up, and I was doing videos, Dark Horse was doing videos on the damn, border crossing and stuff like that. And he was doing some with the recounts. So Dark Horse went viral. We've known you went viral because you fucking were on the damn TV with Kevin Smith. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I also was on ESPN for a clip when Dwight Howard came to Houston.
So I mean, we went viral. They've used our material. So it doesn't bother me, but I can tell you right now, these new internet influencers and these YouTubers who've kind of taken our positions and whatnot, boy, they're full of themselves, man. And it's hard to watch them.
Well, the stuff that they say, it's already been said before a million times by other previous YouTubers. It's just right now they're using it they're actually making a ton of money off of it. Some of them,
Yeah. They'll like use your shit that you created a long time ago. They'll use your gimmick and stuff, and then they'll try and pretend like it's their original creation. And I've noticed this a lot. Like they've stolen from people that I've known for a while.
I remember Colin Cowherd literally stole one of my videos. Like I was talking about the issues with baseball, and I said it being a marathon, and I said there's just too many games. And this was back in like 2018, 2017. And I remember he literally came out with an episode talking about baseball as a marathon. He said, I feel like it just goes on forever and ever. And I'm like, I felt like I just said that like the week before you just said that. And then I made a video response saying, dude, if you're going to use my videos, just, at least have the, the common courtesy to quote me for the shit I said. Everything he said, I basically said it. And I actually made a response and showed him what I said versus what he said. And I'm like, dude, I literally made a video on that. And then a week later, you drop your shit on your own podcast. And he's got thousands of followers,
Yeah. And so, like, whenever I look at the internet today and really media, social media, everything as a whole with these internet influencers,
Yeah.
it's almost like a shadow. It's not even like a product anymore. It's almost like a shadow, almost like a reflection of shit that we've done before.
Mhm.
These people are just kind of doing it and claiming that that's their shit. Like, there's no telling how many times I've caught somebody, stealing something that I've done before. And, to me, it's like, especially like whenever you talk, because I know you said you wanted to talk about how the MAGA party is technically the Democrat Party, which it is because it's the majority. The majority of people support the Trump movement. And I guarantee you it's not just fucking Republicans. It's a lot of Bernie Sanders Democrat motherfuckers too. Now this is and this is coming from somebody. I don't plan on voting for Trump because I don't see what Trump did do some good stuff, but not enough. He did too much bad stuff those last 2 years.
Yeah, I know. Quantitative easing, not repealing. What's that? Internet censorship bill.
The Internet Censorship Bill was H.R. 5181, the Counter Propaganda Act, which means the Internet Censorship Act, basically.
Yeah.
They word shit up flowery and shit. But I meant, and I'll go in and I'll elaborate because I'm going to go ahead and dispute every damn talking point that a Trump MAGA person has to say in my video. But the deal is that now it's become like Trump has become like a plot device. Like, that's all they do now on YouTube, political YouTube. That's all they do now. It's just Trump indictment, Trump indictment, Trump indictment, Trump indictment, Trump indictment, Trump indictment, Trump indictment. That's all they fucking talk about
I heard
on
he came on
both
his fourth
sides.
indictment now in Georgia. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, it's like, who cares? Who gives a fuck? Y'all been indicting the motherfucker for how long now? Impeachments and shit like this. And it's just the same old shit. Where the fuck is the country going? Why the fuck do I care? If I don't trust the mainstream media and if I don't trust the people that are in the Justice Department to do the right thing or to have a fully functional fucking brain, well, why the hell would I care about another fucking Trump indictment? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. That's the only thing that you're running on is Trump indictments?
No, they're trying to desperately stop him from running next year.
Well, I mean, that remains to be seen. Are they trying to stop him from running? Or are they trying to pull your damn leg and think, oh, we're just going to go ahead and build Trump up as this cult of personality so everybody gets behind Trump? And then you have essentially the same shit. You have a fucking cult of personality in there.
Yeah, because I think the more they try to build up Trump as the bad guy, I think it's actually a reverse effect, and it's going to make people want to vote for him even more now.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's got to be up to 120 million by now. It's got to be 120 million by now, easily. And I can tell you right now, 81?
Is it more than Joe Biden's 81 million votes?
Yeah, the fucking that shit's a plot. That's a fucking. You'd have to be a fucking idiot to believe that fucking Joe Biden got 81 million votes.
Oh, facts.
Now that we can say the shit, because that's exactly why YouTube took down my first channel. Okay. It doesn't, and I don't think that it's been quite so bad with Biden, to be honest with you. And the reason why, if it comes down to Trump, I'm voting for Biden again, is because the motherfucker's too stupid. Just vote for your fucking conservative in fucking Congress and then vote for Joe Biden again. You know what I'm saying? And let the political system kill itself off. I think Trump should spear Biden off the stage. I mean, hell, Joe will probably fall off anyways. But yeah, like I said, you might as well go ahead and fucking hand Joe a fucking Crayola, and then we can go ahead and get our conservative representatives in there. Me and Stephen Rose will come. Fuck, you live by Ted Cruz. We'll just drive over to Cruz's house. You know what I'm saying? and we'll say, hey, Ted Cruz, here, we're going to go ahead and do a whole new tax reform. We're going to go ahead and reform the American Springs Act, where we're going to help Mexico out by using their oil, and then we're going to fix their economy and take out the cartels. And you just go ahead and put that little crayon in fucking Joe Biden's hand and get him to sign off on it. Ooh,
well, look, I talked about this in my last video. I don't know if you saw my last podcast, not the James Harden one, but the one before that, where I talked about jobs are decreasing, blah, blah, blah. I did mention that we had a lot of conservative legislation passed in the state of Texas alone under Joe Biden. Like he obviously didn't come and interfere with Governor Abbott's signings, SB 17, SB 14, where he was banning drag queens from our schools, the kids not being able to transition under 18. He passed SB 4 and SB 3, which are the tax laws, decreasing our property taxes. It's supposed to come in tax next year. We're supposed to be saving between $2,600 and $3,000, for taxpayers for property tax. Thought that was a great idea. And he's supposed to be passing more legislation as the year goes forward. And Joe Biden didn't challenge any of it. So I'm actually kind of happy.
Yeah. The states have been passing a lot of legislation, which is the one thing that I do like about Joe Biden. Like I said, Donald Trump had his, shot. And like I said, the first 2 years appointing Supreme Court justices, did a great job. Doing tax regulations, did a good job. Letting go, doing tax cuts, stuff like that. He was doing stuff for the American people. It was that last 2 years that he allowed, first off, he never changed the election shit because we know 2016 was rigged. That was rigged. That's why they didn't feel like it was, oh, we could go ahead and claim it's rigged. You know why you can claim it's rigged? Because you fucking rigged it. Because there's no way that Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. Yeah. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. I don't give a fuck what any of you Democrats say. It didn't happen. I can't name one Democrat that voted for Hillary. Not one.
Well, I'm not saying she didn't have votes, but I'm saying I don't think she won the popular vote.
She probably got less votes than Jill Stein. And that was probably embarrassing for the Democrat Party. Hillary probably got less votes for than Jill Stein. Because most of the Democrats that I know were voting for Jill Stein, and then some of them were voting for Gary Johnson. So she probably came in like third. The ones that probably voted for her are the 20 million left-leaning sycophants that always vote Democrat, that want to fucking pass socialism or communism or whatever the fuck. But, it is what it is. It's Trump really at the end of the day, he didn't fix any of that shit, man.
Well, the quantitative easing in, the start of the mandates, printing up the first stimulus check,
yeah, allowing them to shut.
That sort of was a big mistake there on his part. I will admit.
Allowing them to shut down and do the mandates in the first place, because I got let go from my job, and this is what I don't get. What a lot of people are like, well, that was Biden. No, it wasn't. That was Donald Trump. And if you saw the letter for mandates, you'll see Donald Trump's name was on the letterhead. It wasn't Joe Biden. It was Donald Trump.
Yeah, he started the first round of the stimulus out. He did the quantitative easing, started the mandate, started the mask, requiring everyone to wear a mask. That was under the Trump administration.
Right. And, you call it Bidenflation. It wasn't Biden. That was Trump.
And not only that, but Donald Trump, a lot of people don't know this. I'm pretty sure Polston does. And I said this on my last live stream. Polston, you really need to watch my last live stream. I went in on this. Donald Trump, really tell you the truth, he's not a Republican or an independent. I would actually consider him a Democratic businessman. And he's always been. And not to mention, he endorsed a lot of Obama's policies. He never really repealed any of them. He just kept them in place.
Did you do that live stream today?
No, I did it yesterday. Yeah, today was James Harden. Yesterday was the live stream. I went in 2 hours on that. It was a damn good stream. One of my best streams I did in a while.
Yeah. You probably did it because I usually try to go to sleep early because I got to get up early.
I did I had literally over 45 people on that stream, just alone in that video. it was just epic, and I got about almost 250 views, and that's not normal for me to get a viewer like that. Usually I get like 50 views a video now. So
But yeah, you're right. Like Trump is a Democrat, and the
he's a
MAGA,
Democratic businessman, you know.
right? But he's not. He's a businessman, but he's always been a Democrat. But he's kind of like a proxy, and he's just gonna. The whole point of Trump is he's like an Obama proxy. Whenever you look at his administration and the shit that he was trying to do, he was trying to pass those red flag laws. Mm-hmm. Everybody says how great that he was for the border security. He's the one that signed off on DACA and didn't ask for any concessions from the Democrats.
I didn't know that.
You know, he was the one that was doing the mandates. He's the ones that, now understand that as far as the printing up of money, that falls on the Congress. The Congress is the one that, regulates.
The 118th Congress, yeah.
Right. Is it 118th or is it 117th? I forget.
Think it was 117th. Now we're under the 118th.
Yeah.
I think it was 117.
Which is more conservative, yeah. So you're right. And if Trump would have fought him on it and said, we're not going to do this, we're not going to shut down the economy, and they would have done it anyways, and then, sucked their own dicks and said, we shut down the economy, then Trump could have stepped back and said, you know what, I told y'all not to shut down the economy. I told you not to do the stimulus. This inflation is on y'all. But he didn't do that. No. He went along with them.
Yeah,
and then because ultimately at the end of the day, I think what Trump was supposed to do, like I said, you look at the red flag laws, you look at the DACA shit, you look at all the stuff that he went ahead and caved on and pretend like the Democrats were so strong. Nobody's voting for these motherfuckers since the 60s. Nobody. The Democrat Party only had one populist candidate. They've only had one popular candidate since the fucking 60s, and that was Obama.
Obama, yeah.
And that says more about the American people than it does about the Democrat Party.
What do you think of JFK Jr.? What do you think of him?
I'm not a fan of him neither. I mean, he says some pretty good stuff as far as the vaccine goes. But, he's just another fucking shill too. He's the same shit. I don't see anybody really at the end of the day. Might as well go for DeSantis.
What about Tulsi Gabbard? What do you think of Tulsi Gabbard?
I don't think that Gabbard's going to do anything neither. All of these people that are shoved in our face, we know the candidate that we should be having. If that's Ron Paul. Ron Paul should have been president. Right to there?
Yeah, that, and I would have to say Ted Cruz.
I would probably vote for Ted if he ran.
Well, I mean, Ted Cruz and Rand Paul are the only ones, in my opinion, and I had a discussion with us about Ted Cruz about it. I said, out of between the both, I said, you and Rand Paul are the only one that actually mentioned, and the only two candidates that mentioned about auditing the IRS, abolishing the, what was it? The
National Defense Authorization Act?
Yeah. And the ATF or whatever. They also talked about repealing or actually getting rid of the property tax as a whole, and no other president has. And also term limits. They're the only two that talked about that for the Senate, for the House, and for which would be the new 119th Congress, I'm assuming, coming up. So they're the only two that's mentioned that. And that's why I like both of them. I like both candidates. I think if you're going to address the issues and also to lower taxes, we're spending 60%. We're being taxed at 60%. We should be taxed no more than 10%, 5%.
Here's the deal, right? Because you don't hear this shit on any other YouTuber's channel. But okay. You got Burger King could be going under here pretty soon. How many jobs is that going to be if that goes under? Because they don't only just own Burger King, they own other franchise and chains and shit. So if they're going to go under, those chains like Politos and stuff like that, those are all owned by Burger King. So, those restaurants are going to close probably, maybe, perhaps. You got Yellow's already went under. It's already gone. The Yellow Freight, they're gone. And then a guy I work with said Tyson's about to go under. The chicken place. That's the one that does fucking Chick-fil-A.
Wow.
Does anybody talk about this shit, though? Because this is what I was saying that was going to happen with your Inflation Reduction Act. It's just an arbitrary fucking tax to put onto people, and you're going to start to see these private market business, these private sector businesses start to go under. And it's an orchestrated collapse.
Well, here's the sad thing about it is we got a bunch of presidents, or not presidents, I'm sorry, a bunch of politicians that are more concerned about funding the war in Ukraine than they are about the American people when it comes
And
to
that's
these
just a
issues.
fucking Ponzi scheme. You see these motherfuckers on the beach partying with your tax dollars. They're partying with your tax dollars. All them damn internet thoughts, all them fucking females. You know what? I saw that video and I'm like, I might just go ahead and stand in Ukraine. Fuck this place. You know what I'm saying? Because I see all these attractive girls over there having a good time. What do we get? We get, oh, you're a bigot and a racist and a homophobe. That's what we get.
It's sad. It honestly sad where when you have Capitol Hill, I was watching that the other day, and you got people arguing back and forth about how many genders are there. You can tell this country is definitely in a place it shouldn't be in. When your politicians are actually buying into it, that they're willing to argue that as the front and center stage for debate.
Absolutely.
If you would have told me we would be debating how many genders there are in a Congress hearing, I would have told you there's no way.
You know what?
Now that's the topic of discussion. It's not about lowering taxes. It's not about creating jobs again. It's not about sending people back to work. No, it's about what gender you identify as.
You know what? Political YouTube has dilapidated into today, Stephen Rose. You know what they talk about today? You got a blue-haired fucking freak like Destiny, this little blue-haired simp.
Yeah, I know who it is.
You know who this little blue-headed
getting plowed by many men. I know.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's this freaking, this dude is fucking cringy and shit. Who is gonna watch this guy and take this guy seriously? I don't even know how he has an audience. But this motherfucker comes out, says, well, we just need to go to war. We need to go ahead and take out all the Trump supporters. Motherfucker, who's going to do that? Just because you get on your little Call of Duty thing and you're going, oh, I played a Call of Duty. And you think that you're going to be able to come out and take out somebody like me? Are you fucking nuts? And then you got Tim Pool on the other side. Yeah, this country's headed for a civil war with his fucking Ritalin-based self and shit like that. And it's like, are you two motherfuckers going to be the ones that are fighting the second civil war? You know? Because y'all ain't coming here to fight it.
Well, it seems that we're so divided on everything right now that people can't even come to the table to just have simple conversation. Now people are just talking over each other and screaming and insulting each other. And see, when I talked, it's the same thing when I talked about when Trump was running against Biden. It was more of like a roast and internet, like they were both taking pot shots personally at each other, and it felt more like some sort of like YouTube, Google Hangout, where you go on and somebody wants to challenge you, they'll start talking shit, and you'll talk shit.
Yeah,
I felt like that was what I was watching between Trump and Biden, and I'm telling, and I said to myself, is this really what I want to see again? The Trump versus Biden part two?
Yeah, we used to do the shit, right? Where I would take some shots at you, you would take some shots at me. Dark Horse is the same way. WJ is the same way. We used to sit there and go back and forth, and people thought we were being serious. It was called the word. We didn't wish death on Cedric, no more than Cedric wished death on us. You know what I'm saying? But some people couldn't, they couldn't get with that. They would just had to have. And, you had people that come up and says, we want to make everything real and make everything real. Nobody wants to work in that. That's fucking toxic. And so, what you have now is a bunch of YouTubers that are kind of, like I said, copying off of, did not understand what the fuck we were doing. They didn't understand that the shit that we were doing was the character that we were portraying, largely because we were in the YWC. And, the wrestling stuff started to go fucking, down. And we had to do something to bring in some, entertainment into our channels and shit. They think that it's real, so they go off and they're trying to start a civil war using the shit that we did. And it's like, dude, first off, you're a fucking generic YouTuber with blue hair. You probably never did an honest day's work in your whole life. You've been pampered. You've been spoiled. So if an insurrection or something ever kicked off, and there really was a civil war, you would probably be fucked, because are you going to be staying the night out there in the cold ground and, getting up early in the morning? No. You can't even make it through the day without a soy latte. So, it is what it is. They'll sit there and say, well, you're using your iPhone to make this video and you couldn't do it neither. Motherfucker, I was in the military. I can go without my fucking phone. I can go without eating it. Does it suck? Yeah, it absolutely fucking sucks, but I've done it before. You haven't. That's the difference. This generation doesn't even know the definition of work. No.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they don't know it at all. Dark Horse. That's the God's honest truth.
Dark Horse just took the words out of my mouth.
Dude, man. Wasn't
they're
my job.
Entitled and they're lazy. That's why I stopped talking about the immigration. And it's funny because, like I said, go back and watch my live stream where I talked about how most Americans are lazy. I said that in that video, and there was a guy commenting saying, I think the Republican Party knows this, that most Americans are entitled and lazy. They just don't want to say anything because they don't want to lose their votes. And I said, yeah, of course.
Well, Sargon, right? He was a pretty big YouTuber here. Yeah. You know who Sargon is, right? Yeah, that's one of the things that I got into it with him, right? Because he's like, oh, we don't need any immigration. Immigration is evil. It's a bad word. And I said, if y'all motherfuckers would shut the fuck up and go do something, be a productive member of society. Because like I said, I'm a supervisor, you're a supervisor, so you'll know damn good and well what I'm talking about. Whenever you give somebody a job, you expect them to show up to work and you expect them to do the job. If you don't show up, you're fucking everybody else. But they have this chip on their shoulder. Well, I got a life outside of work. Well, what do you use to pay for that fucking life? Because if it was up to me and I was able to fire people and I just went in middle management, motherfucker, you would be gone. And see, the deal is
that, you can't even bring in and then you have all these diversity hires, and they know they can't get fired, so they actually played in their advantage. So when they hire diversity and equity, basically you're just you hire like 10 people of each group, but you pick the dumbest people, but you do it to meet the quotas. So you pick the most unqualified people for most of the time, and then at the end of the day, like, you just get a shitty fucking crew to work with.
Yeah. That's the way. I don't understand how this country could run. So you got all these people, right? And they're, entitled. They don't want to work. They think that they're smarter than you because they got they went through some correspondence courses through fucking Grand Canyon University. So they're an expert at every fucking thing now. It doesn't matter what it is. They're an expert and they know better than you. And I can think critically. No, you can't.
And not only that, but they think that all managers are part of like the oppression and
we're all in the Illuminati.
Control the raises and all that. I'm like, dude, I can't even give myself a raise, let alone you a raise. But they think that we can give them raises, and I'm like, dude, I don't have that authority.
Yeah, because if I had the authority, you would not be working here. All right, I would have fired you by now.
So we can't fire you. I don't even make the schedules. It's the actual machine that does it.
Yeah. And
being a manager today sucks, by the way. Like you literally have no power to do anything unless you're a manager at the higher end. But if it's just like front end managers that are in charge of the foot soldiers, those are the shittiest management jobs because you literally have no power. And at the end of the day, your bosses hide from you like cowards, and they leave you to get the blame from the customers and your employees.
And then here's the deal, right? It's Lord of the Flies shit, right? So, and I know you've seen this before, and I told you about this shit, and I said, watch out for it because this is what I have to deal with. But they'll separate themselves in the group. So you'll have a little LGBTQ section, and they're in their own little clique. Yeah. And then you have the commie-crat, socialist, fucking Bosch type people that are vanilla as shit, that just speak like a speaking spell. Well, if everything wasn't successfully engineered, that's just how they talk. It's just fucking cringy as all shit. Then you'll have their little cliques. And then you'll have the traditional Democrats, the OG type liberals that still think, oh, it's cool to be a Democrat because Madonna and shit. They don't understand that Madonna is like old and fucking, taking shots of her ass crack under the bed. They don't understand that. I just don't fucking compensate. So they think that it's like some old school shit, like they're still hip and cool, but they're not. And then you have the BLM people, and none of them get along with each other. None of them get along with each other. The BLM people think everybody's a racist and out to get them, except for, ironically, the ones people that they can get with is the Trump supporters. Everybody can get along with the Trump supporters, but they can't get along with each other. The freaking LGBTQ people think everybody's out to kill them.
And not only the LGBTQ, but I'm gonna be honest with you, even they fight amongst each other. Because when I saw, like, there's a woman who's a dyke, and she told me that the reason why she can't stand gay men and women because or gay men and like transgenders, because they always play the victim and they leave the dykes out and they really get nothing. And I said, really? She's like, yeah. If you go and look at it, how many times have you heard of a lesbian woman complaining about, like a dyke woman complaining? She's like, but you'll see gay men and transgenders crying all the time about how they're victims. And she was telling me, and they always leave the dyke chicks out. So she's like, I have no sympathy for them at all. That's what she told me.
Not realizing if they just finished the order, they could have bought their own meal, but no, they're banned from dashing. Oh, yeah. No, we get so many DoorDashes over work all the time, but fucking dude, it's absolutely crazy. And yeah, you're right. They'll infight with each other, but whenever it's them in a group and stuff like that, they'll kind of cling together.
Oh yeah, they'll cling together if it's something like a Dylan Mulvaney type shit,
Yeah, so they cling together, and it's like I said, it's all internet shit that they talk about. The ones that are on the internet are them guys, and it's a small group of niche people, and then they don't even get on anything. They get in their own little echo chambers, and that's why I don't like the internet anymore, because everybody's in their own little echo chamber. So nobody posts on the main boards anymore. They all post in these little groups and shit, and the groups suck because you have people over there just ready to report you. Oh yeah. Oh fuck, they steal food all the time at work too.
No, I'll tell you what's the worst part, man, is when you got either the doxers or you got the people that come in and try to porn bomb you to get your channel deleted. Like somebody will even make up a lie and say like, oh, Polson's coming into your chat, and so I'll think it's you, and the whole time it's a troll, and they'll try to like show a dick or something so that they can terminate my channel.
Yeah.
What they call porn bombing. Yeah, and they'll do that shit too. Shit's so annoying, man. So that's why I stopped letting people in,
Yeah, it's kind of hard. That used to be like whenever we were doing it, and like I said, for the most part, the product of the state product sucks. There's just no way to put it. And I mean, the state hasn't come up with anything. The state doesn't have the ability to come up with anything. And that's what I'm saying, is that we need to go the opposite direction. We need to go back to a more capitalist-based society. Right now, we're in a fascist society.
And it's been that way since the Federal Reserve Act.
Right, yeah. When the Democrats sit there and call everybody a fucking fascist, most of it's their policies. And they won't let you know that. But it's their policies. And they're not the Democrat Party, because for the Democrat Party to be the Democrat Party, you'd have to win the majority. And like I said, outside of Obama, you could have called a Democrat candidate. Did I like Obama? No, the motherfucker was a Marxist. But he did have a majority of the vote on his side. I'm not going to sit there and say that first election against McCain was rigged. The 2012, that's the one that everybody speculates was, the rigging started. But I'm pretty sure that they have been trying to rig elections for years now, because they've been losing since the 6th. Like I said, you go back and look at my old video. I go through the elections, and really even before those elections, the Democrats very rarely had a majority of the vote. So if you don't have a majority of the vote, then you're not a Democrat. You're not a democracy. You're not fighting for democracy. You're going against democracy. And so we know that the MAGA party is the majority. It doesn't matter if I vote for Joe Biden next year. It won't matter. I'll vote for Joe Biden, to say that, yeah, you know what? If it comes down to now, if it's Ted Cruz, then I'll vote for Ted Cruz. If it's Rand Paul, I'll vote for Rand Paul. If it's, I don't know about Ron DeSantis. It's kind of iffy with him. But, I would consider it at least, especially if he took different positions whenever he was running for president. But if it's Donald Trump and Joe Biden, more than likely I'm going to vote for Joe Biden, because I'd rather have a weak Democrat in office with a strong conservative, with conservatives in the Congress and the Senate than having a Republican like Trump that it's just going to be Russia conspiracy shit. It's just going to be Trump indictment shit. You're not going to accomplish anything.
He's
And
not going to get anything passed. They're going to threaten to sue him. They're going to veto
yeah,
a bunch of his, that it just makes no sense,
yeah. So why not just go ahead and go for Joe Biden, and then you can go ahead and have the Democrats blame whenever you start passing all this conservative shit, the tax cuts, the repealing of the NDAA, the repealing of the ATF, the repealing of all this shit. We could
and audit the IRS, all that stuff. Yeah.
Right. You could just go ahead and blame it on the Biden administration.
Ah, I see. I like that strategy.
Yeah, get rid of Kamala Harris. What's up, guys? What's up, Twister? King Twister?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a firm believer of that. That's why I said I don't mind. Like, I'm not saying Trump's not a good guy, but I see him as a Democratic businessman.
Yeah.
And again, I think that he endorsed a lot of Obama's laws. He didn't really repeal anything. HR 5181 didn't repeal that. He also
5787, the media propaganda bullshit.
Yeah, 5187, 5181. Yeah.
Or,
both bills he didn't repeal.
Whatever it is.
And then he also didn't you say what did he do with DACA?
Oh, yeah, he went ahead and whenever they were negotiating for the wall, right, which is what every conservative. Now, me, my position on the wall. I don't really care about the wall. I want to go ahead and do the American Springs. I want to go down to Mexico, say we're going to use your oil to go ahead and we'll use it to fix your infrastructure. We'll use it to go ahead and put some money into our GDP and help our debt and shit like that before our fucking currency collapses. We'll work with Canada, and then what we'll do is we'll take out the drug cartels for you and help you use your oil. We'll get rid of that shit altogether. The sex trafficking, the damn drug cartels. Let's just go ahead and do away with all these CIA operations. Instead of we're wasting our fucking money and our fucking time over here. You're collapsing the economy. We'll just go out there, take out all this shit, and then we'll go ahead, use this oil to go ahead and back up our dollar. And then we'll go ahead and, because if you do that, then the people here that are here illegally will go back to Mexico and they'll work in Mexico because their society and economy would be better. We can make money off of it because their dollars would start to go up. So I may invest in the peso. You may invest in the peso. You see what I'm saying? It would work out better.
And everybody benefits off of this. We can even involve Mexico in the trade deal too. Like just say, look, listen, we'll make this deal. Us, you guys in Canada will all get involved in the oil business,
Right, yeah. And we'll use you. We'll use some of your stuff like that. We'll give you jobs. But we got to take out the drug cartels first because that's, you're fucking for virginity at this point unless you take out all the people as a fucking the problem. And
well, I think once we do that, it'll help. But I also think this will also cut down the cost of gasoline by tremendous, by like 90%. Literally, we'll be paying next to nothing to the dollar for a gallon of gas.
Yeah, it add about like $4 trillion to our GDP, which we could use right now to go ahead and back up our dollar. We can become an oil producing nation. We could be working with Russia instead of trying to go ahead and send all this fucking print out more money to send to Ukraine. That's just going to end up collapsing our dollar. But the bad thing is that the internet has dilapidated itself into the lowest common fucking denominator. They just give motherfuckers a talking point. Well, we understand with Ukraine. Because these motherfuckers think they're doing some for real shit. These motherfuckers have played video games most of their lives. They have no guys like Vosh, they have no fucking clue what they're talking about. They took like one correspondence courses in psychology, and they're like, it's all socioeconomics. Please tell me exactly what the fuck socioeconomics is. Go into elaborate detail and tell me exactly how this stupid fucking shit that you're talking about is socioeconomics. Just go through it one time, you fucking neckbeard, and explain the whole shit. That way, you're not sitting there using this as some sort of plot device.
Not only that, but we also got politicians like Crenshaw, Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, all of them that also support the war in Ukraine as well. Which that's also a problem because they're printing up a lot of money, going to the to the banks to ask for more money to raise the debt ceiling, and then in return the banks are just hitting us at 8-9%.
Yeah, just because all that money is going into their fucking pockets. They're
Yep.
the ones that are they're little fucking military buddies that have all these contracts. They just print out money to give to them for no apparent fucking reason,
Facts.
and then they get these Christmas bonuses. It's kickbacks. That's how it
What we call
fucking
kickbacks.
works.
Yeah, kickbacks.
Yeah. So why in the fuck would I be for something? Because it's not benefiting us. That's hurting us. You know, your dollar, your fucking eggs are going up to $6 a fucking. You know, your fucking food is going up to where
It's astronomical. Everything's gone up. The cost of living, the cost of food, the
I went
housing
up-
prices, property taxes, everything's gone up.
Yeah, I went out and got some stuff. I went to Aldi's and got some stuff to make some sandwiches, right? Just sandwiches to take to work. I mean, I wasn't eating like fucking lobster and shit. The shit was almost $40 to make
God
sandwiches.
damn.
And I'm like, holy fucking shit. You know, this is outrageous. It's stupid, you know? And it's like, there's just no way that this should cost this much. You know, $20, 25.
Yeah, and also,
maybe top.
you know, theft has gone up. Shoplifting's gone up by 25%.
Yeah, no. And so, like, you have now, look at California. Do you really want to be like California? Absolutely not.
No.
Nobody wants to be like that piece of shit place. But like I said, I've gotten to the point to where, I'm going to vote for Cruz for fucking our Congress
Rand
person.
Paul.
Yeah.
But if it's Trump versus Biden in the election, who are you going to vote for?
If it's Trump versus Biden, I'm voting for Biden. I'll vote for Ted Cruz. I'll vote for John Cornyn, which is my representative. I'll vote Republican for everything else, but I'll vote for fucking Neanderthal fucking ice cream licking Joe Biden. Because the motherfucker is just so fucking stupid that it won't matter. He has no real fucking power. And it's just handcuffing the fucking Democrats like they've done to us. You might as well as go ahead and put Joe Biden in, and then put in the. You might as well as go ahead and put in the Republican senator and the Republican congressperson, and do exactly what they fucking did to Trump. We'll just go ahead and keep Joe Biden in that position. We'll vote for our Republican senator and our Republican congressperson. Yeah. And then what we'll do is we'll still pass our fucking policies, but we'll go ahead and tie up the fucking Joe Biden administration with these fucking Hunter Biden trials. And then we'll get all our shit passed and good, and won't be anything to worry about. We can sit down and talk about
that's the strategy I kind of looking at it. I'm like, I'd rather have a weak Democrat in office with a strong conservative base, Senate and possibly House, or at least the Senate, and have that under the have it under Republican rule, and be able to pass this legislation. And if Joe, the idiot Biden, is going to sign a lot of our conservative legislation, well, hey, it's all power to us. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah. And we can start just randomly taking out that shit, that garbage ass, leftist ass policy. And like I said, Joe Biden isn't going to be able to do anything about it. He's not going to be able to stop it.
Well, you notice that Joe Biden has been acting very conservative? Like, for example, Roe v. Wade and the anti-abortion laws here in Texas. And he said, well, I think it should be left up to the states, which is a convention of the states.
Yeah. And that's why I said, that's why I prefer Joe Biden over Donald Trump, is because the states have gotten more power. Mm-hmm. Tennessee, Florida, Texas, all of us have been passing these bills for our state that goes against, for the most part, the commies that are in California and the commies that are in New York, who assume power of the United States. They're the ones that are in control of entertainment, which California is collapsing. You look at the entertainment industry, it's going down.
Oh, yeah, we the Hollywood strikes.
Well, not only that, man, even before the fucking, this is what really pissed them off. This is why they're sitting there saying that Barbie's a big deal. I don't know of one motherfucker that went to go see Barbie. Not one. And I work with a lot of motherfuckers, and I talk to a lot of motherfuckers, and not one of them has mentioned anything. Remember back in the days when we watched wrestling, somebody would come up to you and say, did you watch Stone Cold beat the shit out of whatever the fuck? A scene or something from wrestling, or a scene from a movie. You used to go over there and say, nothing from this Barbie movie. However, it's made billions and billions of dollars. And I think what ended up happening is before the Barbie movie came out. You had
Gotcha.
that movie Sound of Freedom that Disney
Yeah.
had. It went head to head with fucking Raiders of the Lost, or not Raiders of the Lost, the Indiana Jones movie, right?
Yeah.
And it kicked the shit out of the Indiana Jones movie. And that was a private market movie. That was an independent film, and I know it fucked with their heads because word of mouth started to travel. Everybody wanted to, because I went to go see Sound of Freedom. I saw it twice. Most everybody that I know saw it twice. So there was people there watching that movie and investing in it because they felt good about the cause. And but before that movie came out, before that movie even came out, you had stuff like Ant-Man and Wasp that flopped, the Flash multiverse movie that flopped. They had 12 flops, like completely movies that lost money. You know, they put these big budgets into them and they didn't even get back half of the. So it was flop after flop after flop after flop. Sound of Freedom comes out. It beats its Disney competitor, which Disney had that movie. And then you have Barbie come out. So they had to make Barbie look like it was making all this money because, oh, well, all the women are going to see Barbie, but I don't know one girl that probably would have been interested in seeing it.
They allegedly made over $1 billion, I heard, from that movie.
Yeah, and I don't know one person that went to go see it at all. But most of the people that I know that were talking, and I don't care. If you went to go see the movie, that's not the point. That's not what I'm making. I'm just saying that I find it a little bit odd that most of the people that I talk to, most of the people that I know were irritated by people talking about Barbie. Why the fuck do they keep talking about Barbie? I don't care about Barbie. And I'm like, because that's all they saw whenever they would get on the internet. The ones that would get on the internet, that's all they were seeing. And that was it. That was from about 7 people.
I had a B-rated actor on an independent film. He was arguing with me the other day because I made a video about Hollywood, this Hollywood strike, and I told him I don't give a fuck. If that place burns to the ground. And he told me basically, he was like saying that we were haters, and I was like, look, listen, dude. I was like, the reason why I don't care is because a lot of you guys pass woke fucking movies out. And not only that, but during the pandemic, when you guys were telling people not to work, you guys had no problem going on the television screen. They're like, oh, well, you didn't have to stay home. You didn't have to. I'm like, yeah, but you guys were the ones telling people to stay home. Remember, all the celebrities were coming on and like, oh, stay home, don't work, don't go to work. And spend time with your family,
And it's not like you can't get Chat GPT or whatever the fuck it is to write a shitty script too. I'm pretty sure it could probably write a pretty shitty script. I can go to Chat GPT and say, hey, you know what? Write a shitty script for Indiana Jones. And, it's going to say, first thing, Indiana Jones' daughter is gay and knows everything better than he does. It could do the same shit that you do in Hollywood, to be honest with you. And fucking, did you see the video of 30 robberies stolen a store in California? Probably transgender people watching Barbie. Yeah. Synthetic looking motherfuckers watching Barbie. You know what I'm saying? The motherfuckers over there look like a fucking Barbie doll, like the plastic and everything.
Oh, fact.
I don't know. But I don't think that there was a big market for Barbie at all. I don't think it made that much. I think that they dumped a lot of money into it. The fucking Fed putting fucking money.
Watching new movies, man, because I already know it's going to be some anti-white crap. Like the white man's evil, this and that. They promote Black Tyrone or the Black Steve Urkel now. He's kind of like the nerdy black guy is what the nerdy white guy used to be in the 70s and 80s when they promoted movies.
This is like I said, all these people have mental disorders. You know what I'm saying? It's not fucking anything rational, not reasonable. They're you know what? I'll go ahead and sit there and say, whenever they were doing the Creed movies and stuff with the fucking guy that always does the flops, he always does the worst acting. Michael B. Jordan in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, if I was writing the movie, I wouldn't have wrote fucking him being the illegitimate son of fucking Creed, fucking that he had an affair with somebody, and then had a illegitimate son, and then make Michael B. Jordan fucking Apollo Creed's son. What I would have done was I would have done a prequel. And if you wanted to go ahead and end up the racism shit that you want to implement in your shit, you do it from whenever Creed started back in the 60s. Apollo Creed started working his way up, fighting his way, trying to get to win the championship himself before Rocky. Then you do it today. But no, they had to go ahead and make everything vanilla and say, oh, let's just pretend like it. And it's like the very fucking lowest common denominator of movie writing that you could probably get.
Facts.
And it was just, I went ahead and watched Creed. Then I went ahead and watched Creed 2. And then I'm like, well, basically, these movies are nothing more than Michael B. Jordan crying for about 40 minutes of it. That's not interesting to me, But, it is what it is. I didn't even watch Apollo. Are you going to watch Creed 3? Fuck no, I'm not going to watch Creed 3. I already watched Creed 1 and 2. Those movies suck. So they could have done it a lot better. They should have made it about Apollo. But see, they don't do that stuff. They don't put that much thought into trying to make their product good. This is why they want to go ahead and get rid of all of us on the internet. You know what I'm saying? They want to get rid of the people who would probably invest some time writing out a full story or being able to put these movies together. They don't want to give them the opportunity.
Well, remember,
they want to give
in 2010 to 2015, I would say that, if you were in the small market on YouTube, if you were a YouTube content maker, people would watch your channel over the news. And I remember one day Calvito or something like that for CNN said, I don't even think people watch the news anymore. And then when they went to YouTube, then that's when YouTube started allowing production companies and stuff to sort of take over, because I'm sure they wrote them large checks to promote their channels. And then they sort of started blacklisting private content creators. And then that's what you're seeing right now, unfortunately.
That's why you get the celebrities and the Hollywood people that had no business, they probably were trying to dox us on the damn internet. I guarantee you some of them were probably fucking trolling my ass all the time in the damn comment section. Then you give out your address and information. But motherfucker, then come on then. I'll give you the fucking address if you want it. You're not going to like it when you get here. But it is what it is. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, there's even trolls that would threaten that would come on my channel saying, let's see this energy you and Polston have when we're actually in your face, and let's see you say the same thing you say on your channel.
All them 5'7" motherfuckers over there trying to threaten me and shit. I remember that. We're going to come fight you in person.
Let's see you.
All right, yeah, go ahead. I want to see that. I really, really do. But it's funny. They'll come up and they'll sit there. I remember, God bless Lugetto Gamerson, wherever the fuck he is. But this is a motherfucker that said that he was going to kick the shit out of me. He knew where I lived. And we was going to fight whenever he saw me and shit. And so I'm like, okay, you know what? Fine. Anytime. You got my fucking address. I'll give you my fucking address. It doesn't matter to me. Come find me. And you know what the motherfucker did? This motherfucker has some balls. I'll tell you that. He goes, well, you just got to pay for my bus ticket first. So you want to kick my ass, and then I got to pay for your bus ticket for you to kick. Man, get the fuck out of here, dude. What the fuck you talking about? If I'm going to fucking buy something, I'm going to buy something for myself. I'm not buying your fucking bus ticket. You said you made the fucking threat. I don't have to go to fucking Louisiana to find you. You got to come to Texas to find me.
Mama was wanting to pull up to your house, Polston. You pissed off the whole YWC, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you were in them little fucking backroom chats, too.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, they're in the fucking comment section, I think.
I remember those were the good old days, man.
Yeah. Well, see, I wasn't able to do videos. And now you understand where I was coming from back then. Because everybody's like, well, why don't you do video responses? Why don't you do video? And I was only doing the videos because I'm trying to do videos on fucking TNA at the time. And I want to watch something my one day off. And I don't even get that whole day off. I'm doing shit like I need to clean up around here right now.
Polston too. That was during the summer of Polston when you're like, dude, I barely have any time to myself. I'm not going to sit there and waste my 4 hours that I'm off just to watch some 18-hour live stream,
Yeah, I just can't do it. I can't do it. I can only, it's just impossible because I didn't have that much time for myself. Now I got more time.
What made you come out with a Summer of Polston? Was that a work or was there a storyline behind that?
I don't know. It had something to do with Dark Horse, to be honest with you. Dark
I'm
Horse
not
is
gonna
the
lie, I
one.
kind of like that Summer of Polston. What year
Yeah,
was
well, that wasn't a me thing. That wasn't a me thing, and that's what I told Dark Horse. Called me up. It's like, dude, you don't respond, and I'm like, dude, I only got 4 hours. That's all I got because I'm
what year
working.
was that? What year was Summer of Polston?
Because it was let me see, because I was working 2 jobs at the time, so it
Yeah.
had to have been between 2012, 2013 or something.
Oh man, awesome, dude.
Because I was going from one job. That's why whenever you see me on their live streams, whenever they would do the Google Hangouts and shit, you would always see me either and Blake used to get mad at me for this. He's like, well, you're copying me by doing videos in your car. And I'm like, that's because I'm going from one job to another. All right. I understand I would be at my laptop at home chilling in front of a fucking, but I've got 2 jobs. So I was going from one job to it. Actually, I had 2 jobs, but the one job had me at like 4 accounts. So I had 4 accounts. That's whenever I was doing security. And what ultimately ended up happening was the one place only wanted me to work at their site. It would be me and 2 other guards that they only wanted working at that site. And then another place only wanted me and another guard working at their site. And another place only wanted me to work at their site at all. They're just me is all they wanted. And then I had the weekend job that I was doing where I was doing inventory, doing inventory work and stuff like that.
Wow.
And so that's why I was always at work. I had 2 jobs. And then, I was trying to go ahead and keep these accounts for my first employer. And then I was trying to keep up with the other job on the weekends. And it was like everybody was, and then, my fucking, apartment I was about to move out of my apartment because they were about to close all that shit down. So it was like, really fucking just it was just an insane time. And then holy fucking shit, the shit with Trap Queen happened. I just decided not to join in, and then everybody started to go after me, and like it was like a hangout that I wasn't even involved in that long. I think I was leaving whenever she came in because I had to leave. But I stayed in long enough to tell her not to do any videos of Luke Dog, and then I got the fuck out because I was fixing to go home when my relief had showed up to go ahead and take my spot at work. And so I left, and then Dark Horse is calling me up saying, well, did you see this, 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 and this? I'm like, no, I wasn't there. I just stayed there for about like 5 minutes after she came in, and I took off. And even then, I was packing everything up just to get the fuck out. And that's why I was moving around everywhere. And then whatever it was, Dark Horse got pissed off about it, and then that's whenever he went into like a private chat and says he was going to do all this stuff and was calling out Trap Queen. And I said, well, I'm not going to call her out for something that I don't know what happened because it wasn't in there. So I can't really go after a girl based on something that I didn't see or I don't know what the fuck happened. And then everybody decided that they were just going to go after me instead. So fuck it. I don't give a shit. I was too busy fucking doing work and shit. So it was hard for me to even look at the videos. I would see videos all the time on me. People would send me the shit. I just didn't have any time to watch them because I can't really watch them whenever I'm at work and I have all these people around.
Yeah.
I have to concentrate on that shit. So yeah, that was the Summer of Polston. You probably saw more of it than I did, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But then, because I told you I was working. Right? Yeah, what's up?
I said that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, because I told you I was working 17 hours, and you're like, well, everybody was skeptical that I was really working 17 hours until you got this position that you got right now, or the Walmart position that you had. And, now you're doing security. But then you were understanding what I was having to go through because, you have to coordinate. And so it was crazy. It was exactly what you kind of had to deal with at Walmart. You get stupid people all the time.
How much longer do you see yourself working at Walmart for?
I don't know.
Are you starting to hate it?
No, it's not really just that. It's just, too many politics going on with it. Ultimately, I wouldn't mind the job. The job's kind of cake to me, but it's just too many politics. It's just fucking nobody can ever let it, they can't just show up to work and do their job. And that's if you're lucky enough if they do show up to work. But you got so many people trying to get this people's job and trying to get that people's job. People that are trying to stab other people in the back because they think that they're entitled, and these people think that they're entitled, and it's just fucking crazy, you know. They just can't do their fucking job, dude. That's it. They just can't show up to work, shut the fuck up, do their job, and go home and get a check. They got to make everything more complicated than it is. If there isn't a problem there, they make a problem there. They create a problem.
Show up to work when they don't show up to work, you got to manage by yourself or with a few guys. I mean, you got to do more work.
Half the time, I've had to do the technician's job. I threw my fucking back out trying to get a damn cable out, like fucking popped my back the other day, because they were trying to run a cable, under this office. You know what I'm saying? And it was a technician's job. They're supposed to be able to do the shit. But of course, I go out there. This kid's like 20 years old. And I'm thinking he's about to fucking have a heart attack, dude. I really am. I'm just looking at him. He's red. He's. And I'm like, fuck, okay. So I went out there, tried to help him pull that thing through there. He got it caught through there, probably fucked something up. And it was just like, oh, come on. Because if this, back in my days, whenever we would work, you had to make sure that everything was good and straight. And you had to be in condition. You had to be able to do the job. They didn't give you, now they give a job to just about anybody. A lot of these guys are sickly, they just, dude, I don't even know what it is.
They'll hire like a 500-pound guy who could barely fucking move. And I'm like, dude,
That's why I try to stay in a little bit of, try to stay in decent shape. You know what I'm saying? Because I look at these guys, and a lot of these people can't work. There's a lot of people that I know that should be in better health than they are in better condition and do the work. They can't do it at all, And so I have to do a lot of shit, I got to make sure that shit's taken care of still. And so it's like, that's why I, got the membership. I need to get my membership back. I let it go for a few weeks because I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen. But, because I was at the Y doing my workouts and stuff, but they're doing all this construction. It's hard to get in and get a workout anymore up there. So that's why I just kind of let it go.
Yeah, you got to be in shape, man. Cause I pulled my back and I'm still dealing with low acute back pain. Like I'm still dealing with, even I haven't worked there in like 3 months. Yeah. And I'm just now barely getting over the pain. And it's like, dude, there were times I would come in my shift and we would have a 15-man crew and only about like 6 of them would show up. And so what that means? That means that we're literally doing more work. So I'm in the truck throwing 5,000 boxes on in just the grocery truck. That's not even including the GM truck. Then the GM truck comes in, they want it all emptied out by 6:30, separated on pallets, ready to go to the floor. Well, when you only got 6 guys and everyone's Lord of the Flies and they all call in, and there were times where it would just be me and like 3 other guys. I'm like, dude, what do you want us to do? And I'm hurting myself trying to get this job done, and I'm like, this isn't worth it anymore,
Yeah, it's that's like with us too. I'm sitting here, and I've been through 4 jobs. So this is like within the past year, because I was let go of the Commie Cough. I was let go, or I wasn't let go. I ended up working over the place really here doing lifting up toilets and shit. I really kind of enjoyed it because I get my workout in. I didn't have to go to the gym because I was getting a workout in at work. Then I got to Walmart. And then now I'm, doing the supervisor thing. So I was an order picker. Now I'm doing the supervisor thing. And so, there's 4 different positions that I've had in the past year. And it doesn't matter. It's like, you're having to pull somebody else's weight. And you're having to work twice as hard for other people. And like I said, I can't afford to let myself go. Because they're not these guys are not going to sit there and put in the effort. It's just like these YouTubers that we were talking about. These YouTubers. I don't even call them YouTubers. I call us YouTubers. I call Dark Horse a YouTuber. I call King Twizzy down here. I call him a YouTuber. Guys who were here before the freaking ad apocalypse and the shadow banning and shit like that. Those guys are YouTubers. But these YouTubers are not going to put any effort in. And that's just the status quo for everywhere. No matter where you work, these generations that are coming up that are after, probably my generation. And I guarantee you that your generation is looking a lot better to me than the generation in between us, the millennials. Because I think that there's some promise for your generation still, you Gen Zers.
Yeah, I'm 25, so that would make me a Gen Zer.
Yeah. And so I look at the Gen Zers and I see some potential there for Gen Zers. Up until that point, it's the Gen Xers that you see doing all the work. You've worked with Martin, so you know.
That's what I'm working with, dude. I'm literally working with nothing but Gen Xers right now, literally.
Yeah.
And I would say even the generation before y'all. I don't know who before y'all.
The boomers, but see, the boomers are kind of like at that age where they can't do anything.
Yeah,
but
I know.
Our
Gen
generation
Xers are literally the ones I'm seeing are carrying this country, literally.
Yeah,
I work with nothing but Gen Xers.
You probably don't. Yeah, you probably don't see a lot of boomers out there because Gen X begins at 65. So a lot of your 60-year-olds are also really considered
Gen Xers. I didn't know that. Okay.
So you're like Gen X is from 65 until 80. So like 15 years.
Yeah. Gen Xers are literally like I have nothing but the utmost respect for those guys because they work.
Yeah, but see, I think that the Gen Zers are the ones. They're kind of like because they have to take the slack up for the millennials. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You've got this now. The older Gen Zers are probably not that way because they're probably going to lean more towards like you get the older millennials, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be more like the Gen Xers. These are the ones that are born in 81, 82, 83, maybe even up to 84. Those guys. They're going to be more like the Gen Xers because they went to school with the Gen Xers and stuff like that. It's whenever you start to get into the 87, the 87, 86s, 87s, 80, especially after 88. After 88, then you just might as well forget about it because they've been handed everything. And so, they don't know what it was like before the cell phones, before this shit. They just don't have any. They've grown up with Pretendo and shit like that. And so, that's all they do. They're all about anime, porn, and shit. That's what they do. Dungeons and Dragons. That's what they do, dude. That's what they're on. And so, you like I said, and it's the same thing. Like whenever you get down to like the older Gen Zs, like the ones that are getting into their 30s and stuff, those guys are going to be more like the millennials because that's where they went to school for. So they're going to be self-righteous. They're going to be like, oh, you're a racist and a bigot. But the younger Gen Zs, they're tired of this shit. They're tired of being called fucking sexist, homophobic, xenophobic. Because before the fucking millennials came out, everything was pretty good. The Gen Xers, there was no real... Gen Xers didn't give a shit about fucking if you were homosexual or not. They're the most apathetic fucking generation there ever was. They didn't give a shit if you were black, Hispanic, gay, straight. Didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? We all had our own little things that we believed in and that, our traditions is the way that we were raised up. But we didn't give a shit. It just wasn't a big deal. There wasn't anything too taboo one way or the other. It wasn't until the fucking millennials, which is what I call a cause without a rebel, because that's all they are is about causes and shit. And, that started to make everything racist, homophobic, and everything like that. And so nobody wants that kind of drama. Nobody wants to be around that kind of fucking drama. It's just a waste of fucking time when we could be doing something else. Why are we still talking about fucking racism and racial in fucking 2023 when we should be talking about the price of fucking gas and about how they're fucking sending our money to Ukraine and how they're trying to get us into World War III and how they're trying to start a fucking civil war? You people are not responsible. Why the fuck would I sit there and listen to somebody like a Destiny or a Vaush or a fucking Young Turks that don't have a fucking clue what they're talking about? Unless I'm going to make fun of you, unless I'm going to use your content. But even that is getting to be a little bit old for me. I don't even watch that shit anymore. Hardly. I used to always watch Hard Bastard. But now it's like, you know what? They're saying the same old shit. It's the same old shit every day, dude. It's every day. It's the same stuff. They don't break the monotony ever.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, but I'm just saying Walmart's the kind of job that'll drive you nuts. Like the only thing is they like I know you work for the distribution center, so y'all actually have to meet quotas and numbers. At our store, that's not necessarily the same. The way that they operate at the store is they go, well, as long as the truck's emptied by 6:30, in the afternoon you start your shift at 2, then it doesn't really matter. Like as long as it's done, that's all that matters. And what that means translation, if it takes just two guys, if it's two guys doing all the work, as long as it's done, that's all we care about. So if you got 10 guys in your group and 8 of them are useless, then it creates this problem because you feel like, okay, and people keep saying that's, oh, it's the minimum wage. I'm like, the problem isn't the minimum wage. The problem is there's no incentives for hard work. So, like, what does it matter if I bust my ass or Polston busts it? Well, you got these guys that are on equity saying we should do all we should all get equal outcome, but they want you to do all the work, and that's
Yeah,
and that's how I was able to, pull my back and mess my
yeah.
back up because of it.
And see that there yet again, that's the whole thing is you hear these motherfuckers, especially on Twitter, and mind you that there's no traffic on Twitter. Nobody's watching your shit on Twitter. All right, nobody's watching my shit on Twitter neither, and this is on Twitter. But nobody's watching your shit. Nobody's going to Twitter to look at your shit. You can go and look at the fucking trending. Look at the trends. Look at the trends. Oh, something like it'll be James Harden is trending at #1 with 34,000 tweets. That doesn't make that just tells you that the fucking platform, nobody's on these platforms. All right, I got 2 viewers right now at the end of the day. But they're like, oh well, we should all be the same, and we should all have everybody deserves a living. No, motherfuckers who put out quality, who put out who are productive, those motherfuckers deserve a living. And if you're not going to be productive, now if you've worked and you've hurt yourself or you're on disability or something like that, or you've worked your years and you're on Social Security, then yeah, you deserve to have a little bit of retirement. You deserve, but you need to put out some productivity. If you think that you're going to pay everybody the same and think the system's still going to run, no, that's not the way it works. All right, it's not going to work out very well. Everything's going to be generic. Everything's going to be crap like it is right now. And that's just the case. That's just, you're not going to fix anything. You're just going to create more problems. So, allow those people who are going to be productive members, who have ideas, who are going to put out quality, go out, make their money, and then we can have that money, and then we'll donate that money. We'll put it into charities. We'll make sure that everybody else and our families are taken care of, and the government doesn't have to worry about anything. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not really necessary. We could probably fix these problems a hell of a lot better because, to be honest with you, the fucking government's taking in $5.8 trillion a year right now in tax revenue. And you still have a lot of poverty out there. You still have dilapidated roads. You still have people that are not eating, that are out in the streets, homeless vets. You still have all of these issues that you had before, and the government has all this money, and they're not solving a damn one of your problems. Your money's going to fucking Ukraine.
Yeah, what? And I was just about to ask you, where's all this money going? You just basically summed it up. It's all going to wars, right?
Yeah, it's going into their fucking slush funds and shit, where they're going to sit there and say, we need to go ahead and have this so we can go ahead and fund these businesses. They can go ahead and put it in Moderna or Big Pharma or something to go ahead and find a cure that's going to put it right back into their pockets.
So let me ask you this, Polston. Here's going to be the $1 million question now. Are you prepared to hear it?
Yeah.
And I'm going to quote the famous prodigal about that. What's up on a military tribunal, man?
I'm all about fucking yeeting a motherfucker into a sun. We can yeet them. We can go ahead and start them yeet cannons that Hard Bastard talks about, and we can yeet a couple of motherfuckers into the sun and see if that solves the problem. I say we go ahead and throw them into a volcano or something. Just a couple of them, just to start out. You throw out an Alexander Ocasio-Cortez in a volcano, and then it'll be funny to see how many of these fucking commie bastards will be like, oh, maybe the Green New Deal isn't the best way to go. Maybe we need to come up with something else. Maybe, you think? But yeah, I'm all about fucking tribunals, dude. I am. And I don't really believe in fucking I don't think that capital punishment, and the reason why I don't believe yeeting motherfuckers into the sun and throwing motherfuckers into the volcano, I believe into fucking putting them in go ahead and do indentured servitude, put them in forced labor camps in like Greenland or something, and have them be a free production. You know what I'm saying? Free manufacturing for
Let me
like
ask you a
your
question. Are we going to see term limits coming up or not really?
dude.
Or the issue about it?
They don't want to talk about that shit, dude. You got to get people to talk about it. You have to come out here. You'd have to get real YouTubers out here, not these fake pansy candy ass YouTubers that come out and talk about they're trying to get Trump. Trump isn't even in office, you dumb motherfucker. But it is what it is, all right? That's what it is. It's always about Trump. Trump, 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 Trump. Nobody on YouTube and nobody on the internet is talking about term limits. Nobody's talking about fucking trying to do, decrease this quantitative easing and trying to go ahead and offer solutions that will help our infrastructure. They're not talking about the shit, dude.
No.
They're talking about dumb shit like fucking Fannie Willis or somebody. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody's watching your shit. It's been Bambi. I ain't seen Bambi in a long time.
Well, that's what I'm telling you, Polston. Like, I feel like, in my opinion, if you were to say, hey, Stephen, what do you think the issue we need to tackle? The first thing, I would say lower taxes. That's obviously, I think, would be the first thing to bring up the topic of discussion. But when you're on Capitol Hill and everybody's arguing over how many genders there are, what do you identify as? I just feel like it's definitely taken us, backwards.
Here's the deal, right?
You know?
And I wouldn't even mind taxes too much if I could see where my tax money was going. Like, to a degree, am I against a property tax? Do we need to replace that here with the sales tax? Yeah, I think we could probably do away with the property tax and go with the sales tax. But with that being said, at least you could see where the fucking tax goes. You could see these big schools that we have here. You can see the kind of infrastructure that we have going on here in Texas. You can see the nice roads. We got one of the best road systems in the country. We don't have the issues that other states deal with. So I can see where those taxes go. Yeah. I don't have an issue with paying taxes. The issue is whenever you're taking my money and little Bambi said, I guess she's saying, hey, Stephen. But anyways, it's not that. It's like I want to see where my fucking taxes go. You know what I'm saying? With the income tax, you can't see where it's going. And the reason you can't see where it's going is because these motherfuckers are shutting down the economy, putting the shit in Moderna, and then they're taking your money and they're putting it into their own pockets and shit. So they're making millions and billions off of you. And, until we can go ahead and get that shit, until we get insider trading taking it out of fucking Congress, until we can go ahead and limit the power of Congress, until these people can be held accountable. We take away that diplomatic immunity in D.C., and then they could be held criminally liable. Then you're going to start to see these motherfuckers act a little bit more sane. You're going to act more rational. You're not going to be able to go over there and start these fucking race riots in these cities and burn down black communities with them. If they could be held accountable for their shit, then, but they'll never accept personal responsibility.
But everything you said sounds easy on paper, but when you actually go and it's time where the pedal meets the metal or the rubber meets the metal, whatever that saying goes. I just feel like we're so far away from even tackling these issues. People are just fighting over dumb shit, gender equality, gender exclusivity, equity, inclusivity.
Or like I said, it's some sort of Trump indictment or Russian collusion and shit. It's shit that doesn't exist. That doesn't exist.
I just feel like we're so far behind, and even just to have a discussion, let alone find solution or even raise a problem. I just feel like we're just I feel like we can't even talk like me and you are having this normal conversation. I feel like we can't even sit at a table and have conversation without people yelling and screaming over each other. Like we can't even do that, let alone.
Well, I mean, what are you gonna do? Talk to fucking Cenk Uygur? What? You're a bigot. You're a racist. I can't even understand what your dumb ass is saying. What do you think you're accomplishing here? And like I said, at the end of the day, it's funny because this is something that I told to the guy at work. I said the thing about it is that the media is taking every fucking thing that the State Department has done with Hillary, Obama, fucking Biden, and they're throwing the shit in on Trump. And the media is just as complicit in the shit. Social media, you're complicit too. And they're throwing the shit on Trump. And they're trying Trump, and they're like, we need to get rid of Trump. We need to walk him away for life. We need to go after Trump. And I said, at the end of the day, they're your crimes. And you don't think that anybody knows this? Really, at the end of the day, the media is kind of judging themselves. These are your crimes. So rest assured, I'm not going to vote for Trump. I don't give a fuck about Trump. You can go ahead and do whatever the hell you want to about Trump. It doesn't matter to me. You can say whatever the hell you want to about Trump because I don't care. But at the end of the day, understand that these are your crimes that you're trying Trump on. The shit that you're doing. You're projecting all your shit on everybody else. So whenever you decide you're going to have that guilty verdict, then I hate to say that, I hate to sit there and say this, but most of the fucking normies and most of the fucking people that are independent are non-biased motherfuckers right now, especially going into this election, and say, okay, you're absolutely right. We need you to go ahead and get your ass in on this cart so we can exile you to a fucking community where we can go ahead and get some production out of you. And I do believe that that's what needs to happen. We need to go into the direction of taking these motherfuckers, doing tribunals, making them, putting them in forced labor camps, and trying to recover some of the money that they've stolen from us. You need to be going ahead, working 16 hours a day. You'll get, guess what? You'll get your fucking commie care. You'll get free health care. You'll get free food. You'll get free housing. You'll get free anything that, all this shit that you want. You just won't have any freedoms to go along with it. And that's the kind of life that you want out of communism. Well, then we'll treat you like the fucking Uyghurs in China, or we'll just put you in these forced labor camps, and there you go. Because, at the end of the day, they've stolen so much of our country's resources and sold them off for their own benefit. We need to go ahead and get that shit back, put them in these forced labor camps, and then get some cheap labor out of them at the same time.
What's the first issue you would like to tackle? Like, is if you were to ask a presidential candidate or upcoming candidate, what's the main, like for me, it's taxes. Like, I want to lower taxes. Is there something specific you would like to get done that's top of your list?
You already know what my first specific is, and that's the one that the Republicans swear up and down is the biggest reason why they're going to vote for fucking Trump. And that is the border wall. Because my proclivities on the border wall. We don't need a border wall. What we need to do is do the American Springs Initiative, where we work with Canada, we work with China, we go ahead and take out those cartels, take out those sex traffickers, go ahead and take out all the criminal empires that we've built up in Mexico, and then use that oil to go ahead and back our currency before you collapse it. Because you've already hyperinflated the shit. Nobody trusts our currency. You have all these countries going on to the BRICS nations. Well, if we have to end up joining in with the BRICS, and we have to rely at the hands of mercy of Russia to go ahead and bail our fucking economy out, we have to have something to trade, and oil would be the prime thing.
Okay, so yeah, I was just about, you basically answered my question. I was going to say, your basically issue is to attack the oil. Like, in other words, let's go ahead and get this oil business started up.
Yeah, because we can go ahead and refine it, manufacture it, do everything, and then, with the oil coming from Mexico and the oil coming from Canada, we can go ahead and get it out there for cheap and still bring in trillions of dollars into this country. We can use that to fix Mexico. We can go ahead and help their infrastructure. We can go ahead and help bring Mexico up to our level. We can also help with Canada's economy and bring them up. And then at the same time, we'll be going ahead and slowly but surely getting out of that debt, that national debt, because we'll have the resources to go ahead and secure our dollar again.
Okay. Now let me ask you this. If we get into the oil business, will this help with our taxes, or is that a separate issue?
The tax is a separate issue. Now, I myself would probably go for like a flat tax, a sales tax, a national sales tax of like 10 cents. And that would that would generate the same revenue that they're bringing in right now. So you wouldn't even notice anything. So it looks like Melanie's got married. Even though I can't stand Biden, Trump was president when the mandate lockdown started. Yeah, it was. And that was one of the things where it's like, well, I'm not going to vote for Trump again. That was because, I was expecting Biden to continue it, and I was expecting Biden to go ahead and follow suit with the Obama plan. And to be fair, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be with Joe Biden. It doesn't mean that I necessarily like Joe Biden, but Joe Biden, by all metrics, is not the worst president that we've ever had, regardless of what people say.
No,
It could have been a lot worse.
I wouldn't even put him in the worst three.
Yeah.
Who would you say was the worst president if you were to just based on before you were born or after or during your lifetime?
So the whole time, I'd probably go 1, Abraham Lincoln.
Okay.
That would be number 1, because he's the one that sent the federal forces. He's the one that centralized the nation, the capital, and stuff like that. Took away states' rights, basically, is what he did. The second would be Woodrow Wilson, and the third would probably be FDR.
FDR, yeah, because that's when the indoctrination started.
Yeah, that's when you got the Great New Deal, and you got all these social programs that ended up draining on our society and stuff. So, I mean, you know, you had a lot of bankers and stuff manipulate our economy. That kind of fucked up. Woodrow Wilson will tell you he fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Woodrow Wilson, you didn't put. I think you put him at number 2, right?
Yeah, he's number 2.
Okay.
Because he's the one that signed off on the Federal Reserve Act. Yeah, Lincoln was garbage.
1913, yeah. Woodrow Wilson was that. Yeah.
Lincoln was closer to like what Obama was.
Yeah.
Obama was closer to what Lincoln was. The only difference is, and this is the thing, because you know you could look at Obama and say, well, at least Obama did this right and did that good and stuff like that. Lincoln, you can't hardly find anything that he did that was right. You know, because he locked up he suspended habeas corpus and locked up fucking legislators that disagreed with his ass.
Wow.
In fact, he's the one that inspired fucking Karl Marx to come up with communism.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There's a letter. Fucking Marx admired fucking Lincoln. Basically it was because of Lincoln that you have fascism and communism.
Oh, absolutely. Plus, he's the one that started the income tax.
Yeah. No. Yeah. He did.
Under Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln started the income tax as well. We got to have an income tax right now. Yeah. The banks were the ones that took Abraham Lincoln out. In fact, John Wilkes Booth was half black.
Yeah. John Wilkes Booth was half black, and the reason why he took out Lincoln is because Lincoln was going to send the slaves back to
Libya.
Libya. Yeah.
I think it was Libya. He was going to send them back to Libya. Yeah.
Yeah, he was going to send the slaves back to Libya, and John Wilkes Booth was half black, and then
I think he ended up send his mom back or his family back or some shit like that. Yeah.
So they didn't even they went ahead and put Booth on a train, and they sent his ass down to Texas, and he lived in Granbury the rest of his life. Was it Granbury? Yeah, it was Granbury.
Yeah, Granbury, Texas. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so. Yeah. But see, you'll get some fucking PragerU motherfuckers out there that's like, oh, well, Lincoln freed the slaves. No, he didn't. He didn't free one fucking slave. He freed the slaves in the South, but he didn't have any control to free the slaves over the South. He never freed the slaves in the North.
Well, the North still had slaves. I think Delaware had slaves up to like 1903.
Yeah.
According to, if you look at the history of Delaware, they were the last to ratify from the Union as well. They had slaves up till about 1902, 1903. In fact, slavery still went on to the early 1900s.
Well, I can understand why Delaware was pissed off, because Lincoln was the one that it was their legislators that because they were going to join the South.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to join the South, but Lincoln said, no, you're not, and arrested their legislators.
Well, not only that, but also like places like Baltimore was supposed to join. Maryland was originally going to join the South.
Maryland was
Baltimore, and they surrounded the city and started bombing it, and that's how they stopped them from joining or whatever.
Yeah. So the shit that fucking Lincoln did that they don't tell you about, he's definitely
he suspended habeas corpus, I think, right? And he had a lot of his politicians locked up who disagreed with him. He did do that.
He would arrest them. So he was by far the fucking worst president that we've ever had. But he's the most celebrated.
But he's the most highly praised, and it's fucking sad,
Yeah, he's the one that gets credit for freeing the slaves, but he didn't free one slave in the North.
Not the North, with no jurisdiction to do so.
Yeah, he didn't have any jurisdiction. Yeah, he
He
did
had
the
the authority. Yeah.
Emancipation Proclamation, but like I said, for the most part, he didn't have any. He didn't have any say. But they always try to sit there and cherry pick shit and say, no, see, the South was for slavery. If the South was for slavery and the Civil War was about slavery, the South would have never succeeded because they had a doctrine. It was called the Southern Compromise
Yeah.
that was there, 10, 15 years, 10 years earlier, where they said, well, as long as a state stayed in the Union, that owning a slave would be a constitutional right. But
Yeah.
the fucking South said, fuck you. It's your taxes. It's a fucking moral tariff. We've already had the tax of abominations, which Carolina succeeded because of that. They said, we're not going to go through these taxes again. And they succeeded. That's why that's why they
It wasn't the
succeeded.
tariff tax like 60 to 80% of all goods.
It's
or
like
something like that?
68%.
Yeah, it's 68%. It's wow. Basically the whole damn check. And that's when they were importing cotton and wool and I
Tobacco.
think they were importing cotton and tobacco, right? And I think steel too. Or steel was industrialized in the north.
Still, yeah, that was up north. That's what they were using. They were using the tax from tobacco, cash crops, and stuff like that, from your cotton and stuff like that, to go ahead and fund all the fucking railroads and the steel works and shit like that. But the reason why they were doing that is because they were expecting to back the dollar by gold. But the USS Central America had sank, that had all their gold reserves that were coming back from Central America. They were going to send all this gold back up into the United States, and that's what they were going to use to back up the dollar. But that ship ended up sinking, so they ended up taxing the dollar out of the South. So they used cash crops, and of course, this pissed off the South because the South was getting screwed over, and that's what led to the Civil War. But anyways,
yeah,
hey,
and not only that, but the slavery. Just to make one more point, the slavery, less than 1% of people own slaves, and in fact, most of the people that own slaves were also coming down from the north as well. We had over 300 black slave owners as well in Texas, let alone, and many of them were from New York.
Yeah.
Everybody jumped in on it. It's just like when you see with the housing crisis right now, everybody's buying up real estate. They're coming from northern states and from California, New York, and all that, coming down to Florida, coming down to Kentucky, Tennessee, people coming from Pennsylvania to Kentucky.
It was a Southern president that ended up abolishing the slave trade, and that'd be Thomas Jefferson. He was the one that abolished the slave trade. It wasn't a Northern president; it was a fucking Southern president. And so, it wasn't really about slavery. Plus, slavery would have ended anyways, because you had all this, you had the second industrial revolution, you had the cotton gin, and all this stuff was starting to come, and make it more effective to farm. Why would you want to go ahead and own a slave that you have to feed and take care of and maintain, whenever you could just do it with all this technology that was coming out? Slavery was going to end anyway.
Already dying worldwide anyway.
Yeah.
It wasn't just in the United States. So even if the South would have won, slavery would have died probably around 1910, right before World War One.
Yeah, it would have definitely died before World War One.
Yeah.
Even if, yeah. So I mean, it was going to die regardless. But the Republicans use it because Lincoln was a Republican. The Democrats use it because they could virtue signal about it. So, you're not going to get them to be honest, intellectually honest. So that's why you're wasting your time.
Man, good.
But anyways, man, my phone's fixing to die. You know how this StreamYard likes to eat up my phone.
All right, well, I'm gonna get off, man, and I appreciate you for having me on.
All right, we'll have to do another video. Maybe we'll do one on your channel. But anyways, hey, yeah, that's it. Just kind of wanted to do a video with Steven, shoot the shit. Lincoln being labeled a great president is like me say really Biden got, yeah. And we all know that fucking Biden didn't get 81 million votes. I mean, I find it hard to believe that Trump got his 76 million, to be honest with you. That smells kind of fishy to me. But if Trump did get 76 million, there's no fucking way that Joe Biden got 81 million. Just impossible. But anyways, yeah, I just kind of wanted to do a video with Steven Rose, on 3 platforms. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I'll leave Steven Rose's channel in the descriptions, for the descriptions that I have. I'll go ahead and leave Steven Rose's channel in the descriptions on my YouTube. Go sub to Steven Rose. Y'all people like, sub, do the shit the internet tells me to do to get over. And for now, I'm out.